reviewing, and a little bit of previewing. This is the Outside Gate with Steve Hall on L4 Media Network, where we talk US moto and anywhere the conversation goes. So, yeah, we're going to talk about the end of the Super season, and joining me, we have an esteemed guest that I'll announce first. One Mr. Nick Still, formerly of Moto Limited Show, once again, and also of Circo, and also of Moto Online.
There's a shopping list there, but Moto Limited, hey, why not? I had to spare 15 minutes. I was like, hey, why not? Let's do this. So
have you noticed the T-shirt I've got on? He hasn't noticed it yet.
I know I have.
Yeah.
How much are you going to charge me for this?
When Trent was on, I snuck this T-shirt on too. So yeah,
it's good to see it. It's great to appreciate inviting me on. It's awesome to see what you're doing here and really focusing on what you love. So I respect that.
Thanks, man. And then also joining us once again is Blake Maitland from Moto Rundown, our Kiwi colleague. How are you, dude?
I'm good, Steve. And like all the previous shows here, I'm being sheltered from a severe storm outside.
Yeah, there's a storm again in New Zealand, man. It's what's
going
on?
What type of storm we talk? Like a summer, like lightning storm? Are we like a snowstorm? Is there like a storm of like lambs or something running at you, or like where are we at?
Well, it's mostly dairy farming where I am, and it's harsh winds with quite some heavy rain. Had a little bit of hail earlier. Almost got blown off the road again. It's just one of those ones. And the worst part is, yesterday was crystal clear blue skies, mid-teens, beautiful, and we've got this shit show now.
Well, that's all right. Well, like the last show then, man, or a couple of shows back, I think, dude, if you have to run all of a sudden because the roof's coming down or something, we'll know you just don't even say anything, just go, man. So yeah, hopefully the power stays on there over in Kiwi land.
Wet and wild down here.
That's it. All right, let's get into this. Review. Hey, so I thought we're just going to run through the big bikes for a start, 450s, and just talk a little bit about each rider. Some guys, there's not much to say. Some guys, there's probably a fair bit to say, and we'll just roll with that. So obviously, Jet Lawrence, man. Everything's been said, hasn't it? Like you couldn't possibly say more about how impressive that season was. Me myself, I was hoping for that battle. Like I wanted Coop or whoever to be. I wanted Jet to win the title in the last corner of the last round in excitement. So didn't want the big gap at the end and that sort of thing. But it's just amazing. The guy's an alien, and I do fear a little bit. I fear a little bit for the future that's what we're going to be in for a while.
I think when you look at what we've just seen, I said this to someone the other day, right? And it doesn't matter with Salt Lake City. We all want that Las Vegas 2017 250 showdown between Zach Osborne and Joey Savacci. We all want that, right? That's what the perfect world is. But when we look at what Jet Lawrence has done and the era that we're currently in, I think back, and Blake, you'll probably side with me a little bit with this, is how cool it would be to go back and watch the James Stewart, Chad Reed era. Am I right?
For sure.
We're currently watching an era now that in years to come, those people be like, man, I wish I got to go back and watch that. I got to see that. We're living in that era. And we're also living in an era, I think, where Jet is going to rewrite history books in both on the track and off the track for potentially sponsorship, for the money he makes, for the brands he brings, for this complete different scenario of the sport. We're living it right now. So it's pretty special, and I hope we all don't take it for granted too much.
Yeah. Who's got the dog? I can hear a dog. Is that your dog? I'm not
That's my
complaining.
dog sitting at
I'm
my
not
feet.
I'm not complaining. I love dogs. So yeah, don't stress. I was just wondering. I figured it was you because I didn't think Stilly you'd be traveling with
I leave the dog at home. Yeah, they frown upon that.
That's all right. Yes. I get what you mean, like I've heard things about people say, oh, McGrath was boring at times because you knew he was going to win. But I would love to go back and watch McGrath again. I was lucky enough to see him. But I would love to go back and see him in his, earlier days. And so I do get I certainly do get the point you're making. I guess what I'm really hopeful for with Jet is someone steps up and takes him on. There becomes a battle. I don't know who that is, and I don't know when, but that's I want to see the battle.
It very well could be his brother.
It could
be Hunter
be
Lawrence. Like it could be that guy. And from all things, we're going to see Eli again next year.
Yeah,
maybe a full healthy Eli going at it. I don't know, but it's the Jet Lawrence era. That's what we're in, whether you like it or not. Man. That's what we're in.
That's it. That's it. You got to accept it. And yeah, I just hope for the battles. Hope for the battles. But yeah,
we all want that finish, right? That's what we all wanted, and I think that's what we wanted with the 250 class as well. And that was a pretty big letdown. We didn't get that all out winner take all.
Nah, not at the end. Hey. All right, we'll move on to Cooper Webb then. Hey, Webby, geez, he teased the hell out of us, didn't he? He got that points lead back, and the shark was in the water, and all those things that we like to say about Webby. We're waiting for the finger guns to come out, and then I don't necessarily think it was all about the thumb. The thumb certainly had an impact, but I think just Jet got his shit together basically, more so than Coop's thumb injury costing him. Obviously, that played a part, but I think Jet just probably got his shit together and built another lead because he is the fastest guy. But I thought it was amazing to see what Coop did. Especially if you compare Paris Coop,
that's everything, right?
I don't know if there's been a bigger turnaround in a rider's form like ever over that many months. How many months is that like?
And it's a back up against a wall scenario, right? When you leave a team like Red Bull KTM to go to Star Racing Yamaha, you're expected to win. When we all seen what Coop did in Paris, I think we all went, we could be in trouble here.
Yeah.
And then the Cooper we got not only was good, but continually got better and better and better. He had some unluckiness, most of the guys did. But for that first year back on that bike, and then obviously the thumb injury is really disappointing. We're not going to get to see him throughout motocross to the extent we were.
Yeah.
But hey, when we come to the playoffs, 3 rounds at all, let's go.
Yeah.
It's game on. It really is.
It is, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Coop and Eli, who's coming up shortly, their mind is set on the playoffs now, isn't it? Like that's where they're looking at being right for that. That's their goal now for sure. Especially so much money.
And it's a short and sharp series.
That's right. So a mistake from Jet or Chase or whoever just opens the door, doesn't it? Yeah.
Especially when you go down into, say that final round there where you do have double, triple points. Really, you've got to be perfect, but then you've also got to execute at the right times, which is the final round there in Las Vegas. Hey, Las Vegas, why not? It's amount of mudders we've had there in Vegas or nighttime storms. Like, who knows? We could have complete craziness come the final round, and for $1 million, for a fact Cooper Webb he'll do whatever you got to do for $1 million.
Blake, how do you feel about the playoffs this year compared to last year? Last year we were sort of, turning our nose up a bit like, what is this new shit? I'm already a little more accepting of it than I was last year. How about you?
I'd say I'm in a similar boat. I mean, they'll definitely have everything more polished this year, right? Whereas last year we could quite easily pick out little holes in the schedule, structure, how they let the LCQ run, who goes in the LCQ. I feel like it's going to be a bit more polished, but also we've seen it now, so we've got a much better idea on what to expect.
Yeah.
And yeah, we know that anything can happen in those 3 races. That's where the beauty of a short, sharp series is every race counts, so you can't fault at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm still nowhere near the looking at it as the prestigious series or anything like that. Million miles from that. But as far as just sort of, you know, I'm right from the get go, and I'm an old guy too. I'm yelling at kids to get off the lawn at any time. Like I'm an old guy who's like I struggle a bit with change with and so I was like I didn't like the name. I hated that first track. I was down on it. Whereas
I wasn't a fan.
I'm a lot more accepting.
I wasn't a fan of the track. The name was it's okay to me now because I think we know it. It's stuck to us.
It's stuck. Yeah.
Let me ask you both this question, and it's what is more prestigious to you? Is it a summer motocross championship or is it a winter supercross championship? What means more to you guys?
Yeah. Oh, Supercross. Yeah.
I think Blake thinks motocross.
Nah, I'm still taking Supercross. Over motocross for sure. Especially now that the motocross that touch a bit shorter.
Yeah.
Now, like historically, 20. You think motocross, you think 24 is a number that comes to mind.
Yeah.
It's 22 now. Potentially less in the future. I don't know.
I was about to say, do you think that's where we head? Do you think every year we lose one and gain an SMX or?
I would not be opposed to having 15 Supercross because I feel like towards the end it feels a little dragged out. 15, I think it's what it used to be, 90s, or was it 14? I'm not sure. But yeah, 15 Supercross, 10 motocross, 4 or 5 SMXs. I could get on board with that.
What about a 27 round SMX series, inside stadiums, outdoors, a hybrid of both? Not so much Supercross tracks, but hybrid indoor tracks, 27 rounds, runs a whole year. What's your thoughts on that?
I don't think I could do that because it'd feel real dragged out then. Like the
I don't think we'd have anyone left. There'd be no one.
That too. That too. I mean, I look at MXGP with 20 rounds these days, and the amount of riders that make it to the end, that's a long slog. And even Formula One, just keep adding races. And halfway through the season, by the time you get summer break, you're kind of over it. But then when summer break comes back, you're back into it. It's almost like a fresh start, which is where Supercross and motocross kind of mesh so well together. It's like
was that the dog letting himself out the door?
Yeah, he's a needy little bugger.
Yeah. Apparently so.
Yeah, I feel like Supercross, motocross, while similar, they're not, but they complement each other. Where it's one end and it's a fresh start for another. Whereas 27, I feel like it'd just be a drag.
Do you think there should be more of a break between Supercross and motocross? You think it should be more than a week?
Absolutely. And I feel like with less rounds, you can afford to spread them out. With the Supercross, you go 3, 5. If you did 15, 3, 5 round chunks.
That 2020 series was probably a pretty, that was, what was that, 9 rounds? The COVID, Zacho's championship.
Oh, that's when they did a couple Loretta's,
I think that was 9.
Yeah. The 9 or 10 is probably pretty good, yeah.
It just makes every race more valuable.
It's crazy looking back on that because it feels like it was so long ago, but it was only 4 years, 3-4 years ago. It's crazy to
Even the Salt Lake. I remember just sitting at home in the COVID lockdown, waiting for the Salt Lake 7. It's like, It's Tuesday lunchtime. Oh, got
Supercross.
something to look forward to. Yeah.
We'll be doing podcasts about that in years to come, telling young people about COVID Supercross and COVID motocross.
When
weird it
Supercross
was.
race on Tuesday and Thursdays.
Oh
Yeah.
my god! All right, let's move on to Chase Sexton. He finally got a dry race win. That last race is always there's always a little bit of an odd one. Like you don't know whether the points leader's really having a red hot go and that sort of thing. But and let's face it, he wasn't. But it was good confidence builder, I think, for Chase to get that win. I don't think Chase cares at all about being 13 points. There's nothing but the number one plate would have done for him. But he said himself, the story's pretty clear. He said himself that he really underestimated the work it was going to take to get used to that new bike, steel frame, everything different. So,
and I think that win for him is really important as well, both psyche as well, considering the weeks he had. There was obviously the incident with the throttle body on the motorcycle and the whatever you want to call that accident, and then obviously the announcement, Brendan Zimmerman, his mechanic, parted ways with the team. There was a lot of there was probably a few rough weeks there for him, and as well, chasing that bike was set up to finish the season like that with a win. That gives you so much more confidence coming into motocross. And then I think points wise as well, when you sort of know you're mathematically out with that championship, you can have a lot sooner start for motocross practice. You've got Aaron Plessinger, his teammate there at Red Bull KTM. They're at the Baker's factory. They're getting that bike sorted. I think it's going to be a great package.
Yeah. I'm very hopeful for Chase this summer.
The 4 looks weird, though. Just saying. Looks weird.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. I liked the 23. I thought the 23 was cool. But anyway, it is what it is.
Give it a few years and I'll just feel like Blake
Vegas. You'll be used to it. Yeah. Next is Eli. What can you say? I bet Eli is pissed about how his year went, of course. But I think one thing that I don't reckon I've heard enough people mention this year is the when people go through a good run of not being injured, how that preseason and a season and a preseason and a season, it builds this unbelievable base and gets them into this unbelievable position. Eli had that for a huge amount of years, probably the more years than anyone in recent history, where he didn't get injured and he just kept building on the previous season. And then he had this big break. He's sitting on the couch, So I think they had to really mess with his body, mess with his training, and I think he's probably still not anywhere near as fit and strong as he was before that injury, even though it's over a year.
I think people sort of overlook that injury as well with how horrific it really is. Like that is a gnarly injury for an athlete to overcome, and especially just not any athlete, a Supercross athlete that's got that much use and that hard on his body. For Eli to come back and be competitive, to get wins, to be a part of it, I think was a massive tick.
Yeah.
The exciting part for me is, Eli's going again next year. We don't even know where he's going to end up. Like Star Racing Yamaha might not have a position for him.
Yeah.
We know Justin Cooper and Cooper Webb, they're going to be there. Like crazy things could happen. You potentially could see Eli Tomac back at Monster Energy Kawasaki. That's the exciting part of it. And anytime you have Eli on the start gates, you've got to count him in as being a contender to win.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, who knows? I can't see Bobby with his big wallet.
Surely they find the money.
He'll find the money. But it makes for some interesting silly season stuff too, doesn't it? And then even Jay Coop has hinted, in that presser, he hinted that he didn't really have anything locked in yet. But they'd be crazy to let him go because in a couple of years he's going to be
their guy.
He's going to be one of the main people that we're hoping can create a battle. At least outdoors.
I think what he did in Supercross as well for Justin Cooper, like go look at some of the analytics of what he did
it's
and
fantastic.
being that faster rider. It is a massive tick. That is a huge feather to have in your cap if I'm Justin Cooper. And if I'm any team looking at him, I'm banking it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Now he had a great year. That was a great rookie season, I think. Jay Coop, really. If Jay Coop had AP's personality, he would be a fucking rock star from that season. Like we would be going crazy about him.
Yeah.
And that's he doesn't. So that's something he's got to deal with. But
he might grow into that though. You
he
never
might.
know. I hope so.
Yeah. He might. You never know. Sometimes, RV was just a grumpy bastard for for like 5 years, wasn't he? So, and now look at his personality. So, you never know. Next on the list is Jason Anderson. We have to be disappointed in his season for sure. I think, especially after getting second at A1, and we're like, El Hombre's back, like, here we go. This is going to be good. And then that was his best result of the year.
Just stay out of the bullshit. Honestly.
He never will, man.
Just stay out of the bullshit and it'll be amazing how much better it goes for you. Yeah. It's just, if you're Monster Energy Kawasaki, if you're Theo Lockwood there at that team, like, you've got to have a question mark about Jason Anderson. He's the guy expected to go out there and win. We knew we weren't getting that from Adamson Cirillo this season.
Yeah.
He was the guy to go do it. And it just looked like there was just always drama. The one thing I will give him, though, the last scenario we had there with Hunter Lawrence, he got on social media, you want a fucking villain, I'll be it. Like, he owned the situation.
Oh, he owns it, yeah.
You own it, I got nothing. I can't say it's bad. Yeah.
I got to admit, like, I find I find a lot of joy in the villains in the sport. I do. Like sometimes I'll think, I don't always agree with everything they do, but it makes me laugh. That's my sense of humor. Like even fucking Vince, and he even makes me laugh sometimes. Sometimes he makes me like, what the hell? But sometimes he makes me laugh. So as long as no one's getting hurt, I get a lot of joy in that. But he just finds trouble and trouble finds him. Hey.
And he's not afraid to say his mind, so to speak.
That's right.
The thing is, as well, when you look on paper, it's about in the ballpark of what Anderson's done throughout his whole career, minus 2018 and 2022, which are standout years, obviously, with a title. Yeah. 22 is 7 wins.
Yeah.
It's about in the ballpark, though, when you look at it from a wider lens. Multiple podiums. Some shit hits the fan to some of them, and then just around that 4, 5, 6, 7 for a large majority of them.
The 4, 5, 6, 7s are the ones that I don't understand. That's the ones that I don't understand. The trouble is on brand. The fast race, the fast riding is on brand. Like, but the ones where he's just a little bit flat, a little bit off, which is like half the races. They're the ones that just, I just don't understand. It's I think Endo's one of them guys that you're never really gonna understand him too well, are you? He's like a bit of
I think with him, he's very start dependent. If you start mid pack, that's where you're finishing. If he can get a good start, there is a chance that he will finish 1, 2, 3. Whether it's him coming through the pack. What it is, I don't know. I think start dependent is really Jason Anderson, and that might be the fact of coming through the pack as well. He's got to stay out of trouble, or he gets into these little games with other riders. It's the same as Hunter Lawrence. Like as much as what Hunter Lawrence did on the track there, I wasn't a huge fan of. Like, don't be doing that. I understand why. Don't be doing that. But if you're Hunter Lawrence and you're about to enter your first 450 motocross championship, the last thing you want is an enemy that loves to play fucking games.
Yeah.
So
my take on Hunter's thing was I thought he was sort of he half-assed it, like stay out of the trouble and just keep it in your memory for another time, or do it properly, because he didn't really, I mean, he cost Endo a position and that sort of thing. But either
Bogle and Barsha.
either go full bogle or don't worry about it till another time.
Just save it, bro. Save it.
Because it was kind of half-assed, like it was just he just kind of poked the bear a little bit more, but he didn't poke the bear enough that the bear's wary of him next time. Like,
and I think
it's just fueled the fire.
I think when you look at this Lawrence v. Anderson scenario, you can tell there's that underlying fact that obviously their filmer, longtime friend of Team Fried and what he started up, now works for the Lawrences. You can tell that's a major part of it. It ain't over. This thing's going to carry into the outdoors. Yeah, it's going to get interesting real quick.
Yeah.
I was almost hoping when I saw the replay starting to pop up, I thought Reed and Kennard, Hunter was just going to run and ride into the bales.
Yeah, but he did.
But yeah, he just didn't fully commit to it.
Yeah,
but he did what he needed to do. He still didn't get that pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to watch. That's for sure.
Cool. Next one is Jay Coop, who we talked about a little bit. Yeah, fantastic season. Under the radar until you look at the stats and the points, but that's his MO, isn't it? So, yeah, not a huge amount to say about him, but just hats off, fantastic year. I think the best. I mean, I know Jet was Rookie of the Year, but that seems like. You sort of think about it, and it's like, yeah, he is a rookie. It seems weird to even say.
I think when you're looking at biggest prospects for years to come in Supercross and Motocross, he's top of my list. If I'm one of these teams that can't go after the Lawrence brothers, Justin Cooper's where I'm going to start to invest my money.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Outdoors especially.
Yeah, especially outdoors. Like, he's a super bad dude outdoors. Like,
combined great sprint speed and his amazing starts outdoors, like historically speaking.
Yep.
It could cause some problems for Lawrence's.
Yeah, if he won a couple of outdoors this year, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be more surprised that Jet lost him but I wouldn't be surprised if Jay Coop was the one that pinched a couple. So especially if he gets a good start.
That's where we're at. We're surprised if Jet
loses.
Does it, which
it's pretty crazy.
I can't argue that. I can't. I'd love to, but I can't.
It's
that McGrath mentality.
Yeah, well, it's RC days since we've been talking like that, or Stu for a couple of seasons there outdoors. Next up, Kenny Blake, the floor is yours. The Kenny super fan. What's your thoughts, man? Like,
the shot cost us the title. Let's say the shot cost us the title.
The shot cost you the title.
That's gonna be one of those memorable ones for years, right?
Where were you?
I have so many Kenny memories, and it's always the bad ones that stick out. Unfortunately, dude. I think of A2 in 15 when he cased the triple after passing Reed. I think 2017 was it Oakland? I can't remember. The one where he cased the triple. I think of Atlanta 15 where he went into the side of the stadium. Monster Cup over the bars.
Like when I think of crazy Kenny ones, Monster Cup when he was brand new on the Honda, like that one rings bells to me. And then the same, I was there. I was standing just beside the tunnel at A2 when he had that crash. And I was only saying this the other day, like that crash sucked the air out of that stadium. It was the weirdest. History. It's the weirdest feeling. And I feel like we play the game of what if in motocross and supercross. And if Ken Roxon doesn't have that injury, the history books look different. The results are different.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I see people compare Roxon's numbers to Wyndham, but I don't feel like Wyndham ever had that star power to be able to get it done, like straight up.
Or
Like
couple of times. Couple of times, peak K-Dub was pretty special. A couple of times,
but he
there,
wasn't
yeah.
ever like a standout above everyone consistently.
Not over not consistently. No, not consistently. You know, there's been years where it's just like Kenny's the best guy in the world, but he's just not put it together. He's injured. He's blah blah blah, whatever. You know, but what was the one? It was the 2015 one. Is that the one you're talking about? That was the RCH.
Yeah. 2016 was pretty smooth for the most part. But 15, then he came into outdoors that year with that stress fracture in his back, and it took a long time to get rolling.
Yeah.
14 was smooth, 15 bad. 16 was good, 17 bad, 18 bad. And it's never really been super good after that. Other than last year, I'd say.
Yeah. Yep. No, man, but I mean, early this year, there was a couple of times, as you well know, we've spoken about, where his speed looked wicked. It was like, damn, like Kenny's gonna, Kenny's like on fire. And there was a couple of times where you thought Kenny might be the guy who would take the battle to Jet, in early rounds.
But we talked about it in the half-season show, Steve.
Shit happened,
You take a few of those weird incidences out, the first lap crashes.
With Malcolm.
The crash in the mud.
Malcolm and the mud. Just strange stuff. Just kept robbing
him. And he could have been a points leader, at least coming into Daytona. Like, take a few things out. Would he have got to the end? Up for debate. Everyone would say probably not, but core believer thinks maybe. But
yeah,
the shock says no. The shock says no.
That was just come on, that's just ridiculous.
There's no other word for it. Literally, it's ridiculous. It'll be just footage that's
be circulating on the internet forever.
Oh, it will be, and it's I said this the other day, and it's these things, and I guess when I talk about this era we're living in now, people are going to go back to, and I use this as an example. You guys know the photo of Brian Deegan in the Los Angeles Coliseum, like that historic photo.
Yeah,
we have that historic. Yeah, we have that historic photo of Jet Lawrence on the floor in the Coliseum with that backing. Like, that photo is going to be historic. And we can't see that at the time, but in 20 years, however long, we're living in it, and man, I'm just excited to see where it goes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's a few of those. Yeah, like I said, Deegan, Budds Creek in 03 with James.
Yep.
Yep.
Just it's the whole, when I think back to things I'd love to go back and watch, we're in that era. And it's like kids now, when they grow up and when they hear about it, they're going to go, man, I wish I got to see Jet do this. Or, man, I wish to see Jet's first year. Or, man, I wish I got to see Jet do a perfect season. I never thought in my life we would see another perfect motocross season.
No,
I never did.
No.
And you know what?
No.
I fucking think we're going to see it again.
Yeah, well,
2 in a row.
Wouldn't surprise me at all.
Wow.
I mean, I think that's where most people are at. Like, who's going to beat him unless he beats himself?
Like that, that's it. And it's like, okay, I've done it before. I'll just do it again. That's the Jet mentality. It's just, I'm more concerned of when Jet does have that loss in motocross and that whole pressure's then taken off him.
Yeah.
He's going to go put an absolute fucking hurt on that whole class. He's going to kill them.
But that's what we want to see too, isn't it? Like, I want to see his full potential unleashed. Like, I don't like the managing gaps that he does. I understand it. It's a perfectly planned race and it's smart and all that. But as a fan, I want to see.
You want 2015 Tomac.
I want 2015 Tomac. Yeah, I want to see like SmackDown 2-minute lead. Like, I want, And
it's the little things when you slow down what Jet does on the track, And I think you see it more in motocross. He uses these little hop over this, do that, just these little 1% things that just, when you do 1% things, it's 10% better than everybody else. You do that lap after lap after lap. It's poetry in motion. It's just, it's awesome to watch. But hey, I'm a 2015 Eli guy. Give me beast mode any day of the week.
Oh yeah, that's it.
It's early 2000s Everts when you look at it from a different angle. It's what Everts was doing, the hopping, the standing, the roll speed to whoever he was racing at the time. It's that, but way more refined now.
Yeah,
because the bike as well allows it. I don't think if you put, I think Jet would struggle in certain situations to hop and skip if you put him on a YZ426 or whatever Everts was racing back then.
Yeah, I think anyone would. Huh? All right, next up we've got Bam Bam. Bam, hey, rough season. Definitely his worst season in ever.
Says JGR Suzuki.
Yeah, well, yeah, I forgot about that too. Yes, it's JGR Suzuki. Yeah, you've heard there's been different stories about, was it the fork and the clamps and the new bike and this and that, and yeah, there's been a few different stories going around, but I don't know, he'd have to be like really disappointed. It was good to see him find a bit of pace at the end of the year. That gave me a good feeling, that because I was starting to think like maybe he's done, maybe he's declining as a, he just, but yeah, he seemed to wick it up a bit at the end, and maybe it's still there. Yeah,
it's got to be so frustrating for him as the rider, and then that whole team, that whole organization. It's no secret. He didn't like that bike. They had to throw the kitchen sink at it. They changed everything week in, week out. I think they've got it to a extent now that they like it. How's it look for motocross? We don't really know. But for how well we know that Justin works, he'll be at the track sun up to sundown getting this bike. Yeah. To not be able to find that window, that's extremely frustrating. And then for him, I'm interested to see how that team looks next year. I think it's going to look completely different. That whole organization.
Yeah, well,
it's going to be one to watch.
Well, of their three riders, I mean, the hot male is PB's going to be on a blue bike, but I haven't heard much about the other two bikes. But yeah, they've had a rough year. Yeah, they've had a rough year for sure.
It's an interesting one, really.
Well, Varsha does have another year on his deal, but with the gas team, if it does move in-house, does all that TLD personnel move over? And it's familiar surroundings? Or do they bring in new people?
I think you see Ollie Stone stick with that team. I think you see him probably maybe even a bit more of a management role. I think you see the splitting up of Max Lee there. I don't think he has anything to do with the team. And then a lot of that support there, I think, goes as well. How does that look in-house? Is it just going to be Red Bull gas? Not real sure. It already basically is an in-house team. We're just taking away that Troy Lee branding, so to speak, and then the other sponsors there with it as well. But maybe there's more to it. Maybe there's something deeper in that organization, whether it's management, whether it's this, whether it's that's leading to this issue. Not really sure, but something's definitely going on. That's for sure. And, maybe they take it back to, a 450 guy and a single 250 guy who really knows. But it's definitely going to be one to watch. But I think for that team, they're really, really relying on good results for motocross.
It's a shame because I put TLD in the same situation in Europe as the Carly. Like it is factory, but it had certain personnel people linked to it, which didn't give it the super serious feeling, if you're catching my drift there.
It's the fun team, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's the Carly's the family team.
Yeah.
Fun.
Cool.
Wow.
Next up, we've got Hunter. We've already talked a bit about Hunter. If you just wipe out Anaheim 1. Just forget about
Forget
that.
about it.
And that Daytona injury.
It's a good rookie season. It's good.
Oh, it's fantastic for
he did
for
exactly
where
what you want him to do. Yeah.
for where he started to where he is now.
Mm.
Incredible. Heat race wins, going out there,
Yep.
getting podiums, doing this, doing that, just getting better and better each week, looking more racy on the bike and really riding into his own. And I think, when we talk about that dude to go out there and beat Jet, why not? Why not his brother?
Yeah. Yeah, you never know. Like it's you remember some of their 250 battles and that sort of thing. Obviously, Jet really became the full alien on the 450. That's his, but it who knows? Yeah, it'd be awesome for Hunter to beat Jet. I reckon that would be super cool. To just straight up beat him at just have his day in the sun.
Straight out dogfight. That's what I want to see. Motocross. Just a dogfight.
Great. Yeah.
Why not your brother be the person that breaks your streak?
Yeah.
Why not? Like, so much to
it. Yeah. Cool.
Ooh. I've got a thought here.
Yeah, man.
So last year we were making the comparisons in 450s of Webb, Eli, and Chase as Ricky, James, and Chad. And you could sort of draw similar comparisons between those three. Could we draw the similar comparison with Jet, Hunter, and Chase at the outdoors?
We could. I want to see, as soon as I see one moto of Hunter riding that 450, I think it's going to be really good. It's so much unknown as well. Because, usually, remember, in every season, in every discipline, you've always got that one guy that catches fire, right? Like it was Ferrandis that year in motocross.
Yeah.
It's always just that one person. I'm interested to see who's that guy this year. Not necessarily the person that's going to go out there and win, but there is always one of these guys that catch fire and surprises us.
Yeah, always.
I think it's going to be Justin Cooper.
I think it's going to be Justin Cooper too. Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Hopefully it's Christian Craig, but anyway, I'll leave that there.
All right, and while we're talking Husky, top 10 in points. Malcolm still got top 10 in points after a pretty bloody awful year.
How? I did not know.
Yeah, I was surprised when I was writing it down. I was like, shit, yeah, okay, I think we just expected a lot more, yeah.
It's been pretty average.
There's flashes though, right?
And I just I don't know. I get so excited when those flashes happen. Just like,
we're on
at Denver.
The fever's here. This is it.
That one heat race, Mookie. Let's bring that.
That heat race, man. Yeah, it was like.
But doesn't Malcolm Stewart racing outdoors for the first time in how long, Blake? When was the last time Malcolm Stewart raced outdoors?
Last year.
It was.
But last 3 rounds, I think.
Yeah,
last 4 rounds. But before then, it was 2014 Mev TV Honda, like the whole TLD links.
A healthy, happy Malcolm Stewart coming in outdoors. Buck, give it to me. Give it to him. Repeat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like he never rode outdoors in those 10 years that he didn't race in lineup.
It's like every year he come into it, there was always fucking injuries, right?
Yeah. Or he just never had a contract for it.
Or he didn't have a ride, for outdoors. Cool. Let's get into some 250s, hey? We going west or east?
The west is best.
All right, man. RJ. So happy for RJ. I'm just so happy for RJ.
I called it pre-season.
Did you?
Yep, I did. Not out in the open, but I definitely called it. And then I called Faulkner, which was the complete opposite.
Yeah.
RJ Hampshire, he did what he needed to do. It was to go to Salt Lake City and be the absolute best version of himself he could be, and he didn't fault. Yeah. He didn't fault once.
He didn't RJ.
He didn't RJ, and he kept it close enough throughout the season that if misfortune came to Pro Circuit Kawasaki, which it did, which it always fucking does, he can be that guy to strike. Why not? Awesome. I'm happy for him. I slowly become more and more of a fan of RJ. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah. I was already a big fan, man, and I just think it's fantastic. Levi, I feel sorry for the kid, but I feel sorry for Mitch even more so. I mean, fucking hell, there's no words to talk about pro circuit. There's no words. You know,
If that incident doesn't happen with his teammate, it's fine. The championship's done. Not only that, there's 2 championships, East and West.
Yeah.
But them 2 coming together, that was enough for it. But like, if I'm Levi Kitchen, the absolute turnaround you've had since leaving Star Yamaha Racing over to Monster Energy Pro Circuit, it's incredible. And it all goes back to that self-belief in him and getting away from, he said it multiple times, getting away from that star farm where all these guys are training together. There's so much competition. Remove yourself from that scenario. Go and be your own guy. Be the guy and look at the results. If I'm Levi Kitchen, that's a hard pill to swallow. But, man, he's incredible. He got some great wins on that bike. He's going to be sensational. He really will be.
Yeah.
And returning to Monster Energy PC next year, we'll see what we get out of him for motocross this year. It's okay. The PC curse is still fucking there, though.
Yeah, that's right. That's it's rough. We'll speed things up a bit, rounding out the top 5 for the West. We got Smitty, Joe, and Thrasher. Thrasher surprised me, top 5 in points as well. I didn't see that coming. But
Thank you, Garrett Marchbanks, for that.
Smitty and Joe would be both very disappointed. Smitty and Joe would have come into this expecting to
be the champion.
Yeah,
I think the when you're looking at the championship coming into it, it's Joe Shimoda, right? It's we all predicted that. That's what we thought.
Yeah,
it started off rough, it continued rough, and in traditional Joe Shimoda fashion, it started trending. It started trending up, but yeah, man, that wasn't good for Joe. That was not good at all. There were some rides there that were just subpar at best. Jordan Smithy's going to Smith. And then randomly he just comes alive at these random times. Like, look at the Moto 2 at the Coliseum last year, randomly comes alive. East-West Showdown comes alive. It's when Jordan Smith is feeling it, he can turn it on. But it's the misfortunes throughout the year and those little Smithy mistakes we see that sort of sets the tone of his championship.
I've got a question mark over Smith next year. We were saying how Kitchen became better from leaving the Star program. Do you think Smith will be better or worse on the apparent triumph next year, where he's less in the day-to-day dogfight with the Star boys and he comes into his own a bit more, or not having those dudes to push him day in, day out will be a negative effect on him?
I think when you have that whole team sort of be able to rally around you a little bit more, when there's 5,000 guys at the Star Yamaha team, they all want to fight to be the guy. But when you're treated like the guy and you have that whole team building around you, I think that can really rise some people up. And Jordan Smith is one of those guys. I think he's going to fit that program really well. I'm a huge Jordan Smith fan, and just to be able to see the transition from 2017 Las Vegas main event Jordan Smith, the years since then haven't been good. To sort of get this result and wins throughout the year, it's a good thing.
I think everybody likes
by having the cameras and Deegan around them as well. Like, there's still been Smith and Deegan beef. It's quite apparent at the final round.
Oh yeah, it's there. It's still there.
And it's like Star's like it's Deegan's house. It's like it's his place. You're just
and you're just a maid.
That's right. It's his house.
That's what I mean. Go to one of these teams where you're the guy. When they build around you, not you're just another number.
Smitty, I'm guessing he'll train with Jalik and Brownie and that probably, or I don't know if he will, but that's a good place to be.
How
If,
far is MTF from the Triumph facility, Nick?
That is a fantastic question. I do not actually know.
Yeah.
It meant to be somewhere in that region, wouldn't it? If it's Matt Walker's old place.
I imagine he will spend a lot of his time with Joey Savacci.
Oh yeah.
That's my prediction. And see, how does that look for next year? You know, we believe that motorcycle, that Triumph motorcycle, is going to get pushed back, the 450 that is. If it gets pushed back and Savacci can't race 450 Supercross next year, again, man, my heart breaks for Joey.
Oh,
Breaks
anyway, doesn't it? That
Go
guy,
race Grand Prix for the first half of the year.
Just go do something.
do something, yeah.
That
Arena
could actually
cross.
work because Miguel
Yeah.
Hara will have aged out
That's
by
it.
then.
Get into the arena cross.
Just something.
Got to
Do something.
Gate drops. Cool. Let's move. Let's go east. How many of us would have thought Tom would have got that championship? Tom Vial, start of the year.
I was giving him like a 5% chance, to be honest.
Yeah.
A slim chance, like possibly.
I think I
unlikely.
called it at Daytona. I think.
Well, after the season started, Nick. Well,
when you're at Daytona and we're seeing craziness happen in the class, I was like, if Vial can just keep being consistent, he's fine. I didn't think he'd get that big of a points lead though.
That's probably when I got a bit of a feeling like shit. You never know. Yeah, man, good on him. It's a good, great story.
But Vial, man, Salt Lake City, that was a rough night for him. He was doing what he had to do, and I was getting nervous.
the sweats.
I was nervous for him. Yeah.
When he's ninth in the heat race, I'm like, oh, brother, you're in dangerous area.
Heat race was bad, and only just ninth. That was bad. Imagine what's his name, Harrison. Imagine Ian Harrison's nerves watching that.
Mitch Payton would be like, yeah, buddy, that's what happens. That's how it feels.
Dude.
The thing with Vial is year 2. It's probably, I'd have to look back at past champions. I'd say that'd be the quickest a non-American rider has come in from Grand Prix circuits and won. It normally takes a little bit more than that.
Yeah.
Kenny was year 3, Marv was 4 or 5 in.
It does seem pretty quick, but yeah.
Townley, I suppose. But it's not very often, let's just say that.
And then Deegs. We all thought Deegs was we all thought that was Deegs' coast.
Hey, if Deegs doesn't have that first corner, first round, main event issue, championships is.
It is, yeah. And he came in injured, which
even if Faulkner was healthy all the way through.
If Faulkner was healthy all the way through, Faulkner wins it.
Yeah, true.
100%. But that Faulkner scenario, it's just
heartbreaking as well.
I've been bummed watching races before.
Yeah.
I've been bummed out. I've had days I've had tears on some days.
Yeah,
man, that was close to the top again. That was rough.
Yeah, it fucked my whole day. The next day, I was just sad. Whoever won, whatever, it just fucked the whole thing. I was just throwing the toys out of the cot. And then it was terrible.
Sitting there watching it, I think we all just watch live on TV someone that's not going to either A, walk again, or someone that's B, probably going to be fighting for a little while to have normality. But for him to get up like that.
Yeah.
And then, fast forward a couple of weeks to his Instagram video where he tears up and he talks about it. Man, fuck, that cut everybody. Watching that. Watching that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who knows what we see? When do we see Faulkner back?
Dude, even the interviews after that, even the most recent ones, it doesn't sound like it's getting, his mental state's not improving fast enough to where he will be competitive. Yeah. I think it's going to take him a while to get over that.
I don't reckon we see him this year.
I'm at the point where that's it, brother.
You reckon?
That's it. It's
Could
not
be.
going to be because that's in his blood, but
Mm.
I'd be having those thoughts.
I wouldn't blame him if he did.
Nah, that's
Time
right,
heals. Time heals all. But
Yeah.
shit, man. I see
So,
he did get. I see he got LASIK surgery, so he's got that sorted now, which is cool. But yeah, fuck me, right?
I think LeBig the other day put up a crash reel from Faulkner's very first race to now.
I
Every
saw that.
season, and there's a lot of vicious hits.
Just not
And
okay.
even the ones that don't look too bad, they're also ones that he puts them out of races.
Got hurt. Yeah. Next up, Cody shocked the world, huh? How about that? Broken
So-
collarbone, everything. Club MX, new team at the last minute at the start of the year.
The way this deal came about to now,
What a
like,
good story.
no one would have guessed this.
Love,
Not even
I
Brendan
love it.
Haas.
I love
Well,
everything about it. Love his
and-
mustache. Love everything. Yeah.
What a success story for the fact of that whole FXR Club MX team.
Yeah.
Lose Enzo Lopes.
Mm.
That was a big hit to them.
Yeah.
But gain Cody Shock to go out there, get yourself a podium overall, and really contribute. That team contributed a lot to obviously the manufacturer's trophy there of Yamaha. Shit, man, that guy's my biggest surprise. The whole collarbone incident. That everything as a whole for Cody Shock. So much yes.
Cool. That's almost a good segue, but we'll just talk about. We'll just cover off the fourth and fifth. So Pierce Brown and Max Anstey. Pierce getting fourth in the championship is probably
quiet.
Probably just, he should be a bit better, but yeah.
It was
Max,
almost smooth sailing all the way through until the last two were just
Max getting fifth.
same old.
Max would be very disappointed at getting fifth, I would say. Obviously, a big chunk of points gone with the bike failure.
Still an overall win for him. That's a big thing for that team and securing his future as well, what we believe to be Star Yamaha Racing.
Yeah, sounds like it, yeah.
Still a lot to go for him, though. World Supercross, Australian Supercross, we get to see Max Anstey. He ticked a lot as in being fast, having heat race wins, getting a main event, fastest qualifiers. When you look at the list of analytics for him, it's a big tick. The results don't replicate it, though.
Yeah.
Do you think the preseason hype makes us look at this year negatively, as if he didn't meet expectations?
Little bit. For some, it does. Yeah.
Because if I'm going back pre-season, I don't hear anything about Anstey, and I come to now, I see the win, I see heat wins, I see pole positions, laps led. I think it'd be a good year, but the Anstey hype coming in pre-season was crazy.
I think it's the fact you hold the red plate for 2 rounds as well to this result. I feel like that's a major part of it.
Yeah, that was like, he's here. He's arrived. This is it. This is his time. He's got the.
But honestly, for what Yuriv Konski is doing with that whole Firepower Honda team there with Martin, it's a really cool accomplishment to even be able to do that.
It's a good story. Cool. Disappointments. Who is your 450 and your 250 disappointments? So I'll start. The 450. I can't. I was struggling to split the Husqvarna teammates. I was going to say Christian just to upset Nick, but I've got Christian / Malcolm here. I still can't decide because I was so high on what Malcolm might be able to do. Even though Malcolm had a better season than Christian, I don't know. So the 450 Husky team and then 250. My disappointments there is sort of 2 different reasons. So Faulkner, as in me just being so disappointed for him, and just a disappointing situation. Disappointing form for a 250 rider. I'd actually have to say Ryder D. Like, I just expected that kid to just do heaps better than he did. Not sure what the story is there, but he's had a bit of a rough start to his pro career for such a a dominant amateur rider. And I'm a big fan of his. I really like that kid. I liked him from the first time I saw him, really saw him properly at Futures there, 2 years ago. And he was cleaning up at Futures, and I thought, geez, this kid's something special. So yeah, I hope they figure that out. But that's sort of my disappointments. What about you guys?
I've sort of got to side with you there. The disappointment would be Austin Faulkner, Monster Energy Pro, said Kawasaki, from so much promise to leading both coasts, significant points lead as well for both those guys to both finish there like that. And then it's in the situation of sort of them taking each other out. And then obviously that crash with Faulkner. That's my 250. As for 450, I've got to stick with you. Christian Craig. I'm a big Christian guy. Everyone knows that.
Of course, yeah.
And I was really looking forward to him being able to show what he can do on a 450. You sort of come into this year for him with so much expectation. 2-year deal. I got to go prove myself that I'm worth a ride. And to have that, still have these shoulder issues, elbow issues, it's a tough pill to swallow. And now looking for him, we don't know how he's going to be for motocross. It's from all things we know he's going to line up next weekend. But at the last minute, he might decide, no, I need a couple more weeks. I look at that in the concept of, okay, RJ Hampshire winning a championship. For a fact he's going to stay on that 250 next year. Maybe that buys Christian one more year. Maybe it doesn't. But yeah, they're my two disappointments.
Like,
I'm pretty much on par with all of you guys. Yeah, the Husky, Christian, and the fact that before his season-ending crashes and injuries last year, the ball was slowly starting to roll. I can remember that heat race win. I can't remember what city. And he was knocking on top fives. It was looking good. And bang. And then same thing again. It got off to a right start. But the ball didn't even start to roll before it ended, really. And then Malcolm, I just wanted to not even have a top 5 come in of the season was pretty tough to see as well. For 250s, Ryder D as well. I mean, even that heat race at Denver, being passed in the same corner 3 times in that heat race was a massive red flag to me.
There's something off, something strange off. Like, I don't know whether it's one of them weird ones where you think, like, is this kid, is he like mentally going well, or what is this? Sometimes it almost looked like a lack of fight in him, which is really unusual in a racer, to see someone sort of just not have that bit of fight in him.
He looked tense and nervous almost.
I don't know. Yeah, just even timid in a couple of those situations. Like, and that's like this. You're a bad dude, kid. Like, that's it's an unusual one. Yeah. So
and on top of that, obviously Faulkner for the same reason that you said, Nick. And then we praise Club for the great year they've had, but then what doesn't get talked about is the other two, the darker side of J-Mart and Jet Reynolds.
Yeah.
Like, I just wanted Jeremy to get through healthy, and he slapped his noggin so hard.
Yeah.
Are we even going to see him for motocross?
I hope not. I love J-Mart. I'm a big J-Mart guy. And, when it's all said and done, he's probably still my favorite. He used to be my absolute favorite, but it's hard to say that when he's never around nowadays. But I want to see the little guy retire. I don't want him to get hurt anymore. He's been hurt.
I'd like to see him
hurt too much.
I'd like to see him do an Alex Martin, just a year steady on a 450s to say you've done the season, and back to the dealership. But
to the dealership.
Head up,
Reynolds, man.
Yeah, Reynolds.
I mean, he made progress. He made it to qualifying.
Yeah.
I mean, four cracks at it though. 2 not making it to the first round. Then the press day crash, and now first Q1.
I think I can think of another one, and this will be my last one. I've got to leave you guys in like 2 minutes. I'm sorry. Adam Cincerillo, like, that one is still rough to watch because of so much promise of what he had growing up. You know, second he got on that 450, winning Monster Cup, beating Eli Tomac at Monster Cup, beating a teammate to what he is now, and watching him out there, you can just tell that injury with his arm is just, it's been so rough to watch. But
And one mistake away from that A1 win as well.
that it's there's so much promise there. But you know, I'm so happy he's at peace with that decision, and I think we're going to see him around the sport. We're going to see him in TV.
Hell yeah.
We're going to continue to see him, but it's one of those guys where we've seen his misfortune in Supercross and not winning those championships. We obviously seen him win Motocross 250, and then when he got onto that Monster Energy Kawasaki 450, we thought, holy shit, it's on. We got this. And just the misfortune, it's been really rough.
Yeah.
Did you watch the vlog, the final race vlog?
I haven't yet. I've watched snippets of it.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Dude, like straight up a roller coaster, man. It's like props to whoever put it together. It's a masterpiece. But I encourage everyone to watch it, but have a bucket ready to catch some of those tears, because
I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. Nope.
I'm gonna watch it straight after this now. But you can, it's definitely one I've been trying to get to. Yeah, Steely, before you go, just your most improved 450 rider, because I reckon 250 we're all gonna say Cody Shock.
250 we're going Cody Shock for sure. As for 450, like most improved, like I'm split between Hunter Lawrence and Justin Cooper. But I think I'm going to go with Hunter Lawrence because he just continually got better and better and better. Prado was fantastic when we seen him. I'm going to lean with Hunter Lawrence. Like from what we've seen at the start of the year, and we thought, okay, that's what Hunter Lawrence is. That's his ceiling. No, he just kept raising it, and seeing both those boys go 1-2. Shit, man, what a moment! What a moment!
I'm actually, my most improved 450 have actually put AP, which might be a weird one, but you know,
what a start to the year for AP. What a start.
I think
I can go with you on that.
He raised the level he raised it from looking at him as a 3 to 6 guy as like a 1 to 3 guy. You know, early season, he raised his level. So that was my answer for that. What about you, Blake?
Again, agree with you guys, but to be a little different, I picked Benny Bloss.
Yeah. Good one. Good one. Yeah, can definitely get around.
He was good, man. He was good.
Great.
That's like some of the best I've seen Benny look since Rocky Mountain KTM. And also the bike. I know it's a good bike, but historically looking at that beater, has never gone super smooth for anyone who's ever been on it. It's taken a long time to set up and adapt to it. But Benny just straight away.
Good for tall guys.
He is showing so much. For Beta, they're going, we need you, Benny. You just saved us, basically. If Nichols gets on there and has that result without Benny being out there, you can blame the bike any day of the week. But Benny sort of narrows that down. So amazing.
And a small improvement just on the side, like McElrath, dude. He looks a lot more at home and happy with everything compared to past years. I mean, it's not that heat race at Tampa on Motor Concepts Honda, but
Sugar Shane, baby, Sugar Shane.
All right, Stilly.
I've seen more on TV than past years.
Stilly, we'll let you go, man. Thank you very much for your time.
You boys be well. Once again, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm interested to hear your takes on what we see for motocross. I'll definitely listen in after. But thank you.
Thanks, man. Thanks for joining us.
All right, boys. Thank you.
Cheers, man. Bye. Cool. All righty, man. So let's get into a little bit of outdoors. We're not going to go too deep, but I thought maybe there's certainly more to talk about with 250s.
I agree. Yeah,
450s. I looked at 450s for a preview, man, and I really thought we got to try and figure out who's going to be third, because I reckon 1 and 2 are a lock in my opinion. I reckon. No, it's good if you're not on board with that. We're all on board with one. Like it's Jets to lose.
Yep.
I think Chase is a clear second. What about you?
I'm mostly there with Chase, but if we see the same thing as in Supercross, where the bike's not quite there, and it takes them a little bit, if it takes them a little bit to get going, there could be someone who has it dialed straight away, and it has a bit of a points buffer that Chase has to chip away at. So I'm 95% of the way there with Chase, but I just need to see Parler. If Parler goes smoothly, then count me in for second place.
Because I can sort of see a year of Jet 15 seconds, Chase 10 seconds, and then who's next? That's what I'm fearful of, but I'm also expecting. So if it's like that, I'll be okay. I'll watch people race pit bikes around a parking lot. Like I love it, no matter what. But that's sort of what I'm thinking. And then let's just talk about the next bunch then, man. So J Coop, Hunter. Who else? Who's in that group? Who else is in that group?
Everyone's sleeping on the third Honda.
Dylan's got me worried though. Dylan's health issues have got me worried. Yeah.
Yes. Are we talking end of season, or are we talking just race to race? End of season, I'm going Hunter. End of season. Or J Coop. But individual moto, the list does broaden slightly.
I guess maybe a bit of both, man. Like who I guess end of season, but like he's going to be like third in points or battling, top 5 in points. Who else is there? Like I'm saying J Coop's third in points. That's who I'm predicting. But in that battle, like it's interesting to someone will join that. I think like a bit like Stu was saying, someone will join that battle. There'll be someone that we didn't expect that steps it up a little bit.
I'm thinking for overall 3-year races, top 3s, Jet and Chase will be the most frequent.
Yeah.
And then dabble in J Coop, Hunter. I think Anderson, possibly like Hangtown or Parler could sneak a few top 3s in individual races. Dylan, and I'm feeling Bam. We'll see Bam in the top 3 in 1 or 2.
I'd love that.
If everything's gelling, then I think we see him up there as well.
I think we want Bam to. We want his shit to gel because we're especially early season. We've got no Ken, we've got no Eloy, we've got no Coop, and I mean I know Coop's not traditionally real strong outdoors, but still.
But he was pretty solid last year at the start. He was a podium guy.
Yeah, so I mean, like
and around AP.
Well, AP, how's his health? Actually, that's one I'm not sure about.
I haven't heard much either. I think he'll be a slow builder. So around sort of Red Bud, like Millville, around there, we'll see him pick it up.
Because I mean, AP can win one of these things. We know that but it's just his health,
I want to see AP on his last year in the Yamaha, where he was on the verge of getting that moto win, like especially a Unadilla before he did Roddy Mack and didn't save it.
But yeah, so many people out or with injury question marks start of the year. So we need. There's not too many when you think about it, but we need someone like Bam Bam to just throw his hat in the ring for podiums or Who else though, man? Like, geez,
I'm not very confident on Husky.
No, not at all. No. No, I mean, I could think of nothing cooler than if Malcolm comes out and just like we've got Mookie Fever outdoors. Like that's the coolest thing I could think of for the whole summer, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I haven't seen Mookie Fever outdoors in 10, 11 years.
No,
Unfortunately.
that's right.
I
That's
don't think
right,
it's there for
man. So
outdoors.
who knows, man? Maybe Benny Bloss catches fire outdoors.
They're not doing the whole series though.
Oh, aren't they?
No, they're only going to do
That's
3 or 4 of them towards the end of the season.
Okay. Damn. Yeah, it's a rough one. So we're back to Masterpool. Is Masterpool doing the whole series?
It's going to be the summer of someone.
hey, Masterpool. Yeah.
One,
that's it.
Freddie's in for all the outdoors. I
Is
think
he?
Freddie can be a sleeper.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
as far as top 10s go, I think he's going to be consistently in there. Freddie's an underrated outdoor rider.
But I think that it's some of these guys that it's always the summer of someone, isn't it? Some of these guys that have got to pop up and like I know, it's hard. Like the entry list, I checked the entry lists yesterday. I don't think I've checked it today. And the entry list it's fucked, man. It's like it's like no one's entered yet. It's not updated. There's like 4 factory riders and then a heap of dudes I've never heard of on the entry.
You can go the day before and won't even be full.
So, it's it's hard to know exactly who's doing all the events. Like I'm looking for a privateer that's going to do the whole series to maybe come on for each week and just do a catch up, follow them through the series. But I haven't found one yet that's doing the whole series. So.
No, I don't think they know either.
Yeah,
it's like I know the whole point of the SMX series finals is to try and tie people in and get them to go through. Yeah. But when the field up until lately is still stacked with factory riders, there's only tiny portions for privateers.
Yeah.
And like I know last year it was pretty diluted, so more privateers are in. But we haven't had a whole lot drop out so far, and the ones that have dropped out are quite high up in the point standings already.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you'll see privateers look at it and go, you know what, I think I've got a chance. Because even if you're scoring 3-4 points a weekend, it's still not going to be enough to get you in, even as a reserve.
And you're not making it. They're not making any money. They're just losing money doing that. So yeah,
I've got a sneaking suspicion for outdoors.
What's that?
I believe Jorgensen Talviku.
Okay.
Estonian rider. We've seen him in 250s years past. Like pop fantasy players will recognize him.
Yeah.
I want to say he did 450. I know he's in for all of outdoors for Rides Unlimited KDM.
Okay.
And Lacurcio will be back on a 450, I believe. Wildcat. Does Boutron come over? I don't know. He baited everyone in saying he was going to do Supercross, and I saw all these European outlets going Boutron in for Supercross, but he just baited everyone.
Yeah.
It's hard, man.
Yeah. Let's talk 250s then. There's a lot more action going on there. Who's winning 250s? Who have you got?
Oh, I'm on the fence with a few people. It's tough because no one's ever. The list I'm looking at, there's no one that's been a standout, like dominant factor in a series before, outdoors at least, other than the triumph of Joe Savacci. He's the most winningest rider in the 250s. If J-Mart doesn't line up, then Savacci has the most success on a 250 outdoors. But I want to lean VL, but I don't know if is there a Supercross hangover, same as RJ. I wouldn't have thought so. They were back riding a day after, 1 or 2 days later after that Supercross title.
I reckon VL's the man.
I'm going to lean slightly VL.
Yeah.
But I could easily swing to Deegan.
Yeah, yeah. I think with speed and consistency, Vial will win it. I think
Oh, for sure.
on his day, Deegan does have more top end speed, but he's still a kid, man, and we're not going to see that. He's sandy, he's emotional. We're not going to see that every week, So, I could even see Deegan win more races than Tom, but Tom win the
Absolutely.
championship. Yeah,
It
I could
could
see
look very
Deegan.
similar to not Deegan,
Yeah,
Tom's Grand Prix years with Geertz. Geertz had more speed and more race wins, but he'd have more motos where he'd lose points, like big chunks of points.
yep,
And Tom would just get there through consistency and regular wins here and there.
yeah, yeah. That's what I reckon. So, and I like the that sort of 22 races, all that's nothing to Tom. That's back to normal.
No.
That's back to normal for Tom.
Tom's used to 40
season.
motos.
That's a short season. It's back to normal. It's like whatever. Like it. So the length of it, and that sort of thing, and the format and all that. Like, the difference in format to Europe. He got a taste of that last year. That's all good. He knows that now.
Yeah. And he's more comfy with home life. Like, just his general living basis is a lot more comfy. Yeah, he's had more time in humidity and heat, which where he was training in Europe didn't have a whole lot of that. So I think Tom being just more comfy with the surroundings coming into this year.
Absolutely. And then I've actually put Deegs third because I think there'll be mistakes. And I'm sneaking in Levi. Into second. I think that the way they've got those pro circuit bikes, he's going to get really good outdoor starts. He is a little start dependent, not as much as he used to be, but he is a little bit. And I think he will get really good starts on that Cowie. It's arguably the fastest bike there again for the pro circuit bikes. We saw outdoors last year, those pro circuit bikes, sometimes getting the better of the star bikes off the start. And apparently they are a bit faster this year. They found something else. So I could see, if Levi gets the starts, I can see him having a really good year. And he is also going to be motivated, man, like really, really motivated after losing the Supercross title.
It's like a rebirth of AC one summer.
It's the same deal, yeah. So who you got second and third, man? Or who you got 1, 2, 3?
Like, I had Tom, Deegan, and then Kitchen.
Yeah.
The reason I'm putting Kitchen in third is I want to see consistent and good results, much like coming to the Supercross season. Like, okay, PC, he'll be a lot more comfy. The speed's there. Starts should get better. But I need to see it a few rounds. Like this year, he was podium, and win podium. I want to see that in the first couple of motos before I lock in and go, all right, I can see him contending.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to hold out a little bit. And I think Hampshire is just going to be Hampshire of always.
Yeah.
There's going to be more bad starts outdoors than good.
He's the one that was.
He's going to win Bud's Creek for whatever reason.
He was tough to leave out of the 3 when I was figuring it out. He was the one that I wanted to put in, but there's only 3 spots, And I'm a big RJ fan. I'd like RJ to win the whole damn thing, but picking with my head and not my heart, that's what I've got. But RJ, and then also same again. Another one of my favorites, Joe. I love Joe, man. But I'm gun shy after the Supercross, man. Like it was ordinary. So what do you know? I'd love him to win the whole damn thing, but same as with RJ, But my expectations are low now. They're low. Like not getting me hopes up. Like, it's he's a hard one to figure out. The old Joe. He's a hard man to be a fan of at times because he's
It's gonna be frustrating for sure.
Inconsistent, like, yeah. So
yeah, I've been the same boat. I feel like Hampshire is going to be the Hampshire of old as far as outdoors go. He's going to be real flashy, and he's going to have some pretty dud motos, which takes him out of title contention. I could be wrong. I'd like to be wrong. That's just where my heart's going and where my brain's thinking. And same as Joe. He's going to go outdoors, and there's going to be a shock of some sort. That, we're not quite there. And halfway through season, he'll be knocking on motor wins, and then he'll won one Ironman or something like that.
Yeah. Who else, man? Who else in the 250s is going to
Savachi, man.
Who's going to support you? You're high on Joey?
I'm high, maybe. It's hard to say, man. It could go either way. It could be boom or bust, The boom's where is because he's done all the training. He's been ready to go. He's healthy. Good pre-season on it. Yeah. Or it's going to go bust where he's done all this riding, but perhaps he's tapered it off. He's hit his peak too early, and the lack of gate drops might take him a little bit to work into. Yeah.
That's the worry.
Really iffy.
The gate drops is the worry, isn't it? Because nothing replicates that. Yeah.
Yeah. And a big unknown for me is Cody Shock on a 250 outdoors.
Yeah.
I don't know how well that will go. Like he said, he'll be happy with top 15 to start the year. I can see that. And yeah, I think it's just going to be a building year. So I don't want to put too many expectations on Shock.
Yeah. I could see him doing pretty well. Yeah. But yeah, not huge expectations.
And I just hope Ryder D as well pulls it through for this summer.
I hope so.
Last year, man, was kind of disappointing. Like he'd start up front so often.
Yeah.
And he just fade back, man.
Yeah.
Like if he's just started 10th and finished 9th or 10th, then it'd be sweet. But the fact he'd start first, second, third so often and then fade to like 11th, 12th, or 13th, man.
That stands out, doesn't it? When you get, it's old, you think of riders in the past like that, like, Alessi used to do that a lot, different ones, different times. Bogle did a little bit, where they just keep getting the starts, but then you just knew they were going to fade back, and it's like, dude,
Yeah.
Would you rather? Was it? There's the old saying of, I
think Villeman was saying it.
Was it? Yeah. There's a saying.
Like, I'd rather start. What was it like? I'd rather start 12th and finish 7th than start 2nd and finish 7th. Or something along those
something
lines.
like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Which is, it's like, you did well, you come through, it's like,
exactly, yeah.
It was like, what happened? What happened? You got a good start, yeah. It's it is, yeah. It's a fair enough way of looking at it, isn't it? Yeah. But,
and I'm excited for Phil, man. Phil's last outdoor season on the 450. If he's like just top 10 all the way through, I think he'd be stoked on that.
Get through healthy. Get through healthy, and
maybe we get another muddy Unadilla, and you can call through a second podium.
Another podium. Imagine that. Imagine the crowd.
Oh.
Imagine this. Imagine Phil somehow podiums. Imagine a Red Bud Mudder and Phil podiums at Red Bud. Imagine that crowd.
Imagine that.
Imagine that story, man. Like that.
I think you just hang up the boots right there. Just go out on top.
Yeah, he'd have to. He'd have to just say, "Look, I think this is it." We're done. Yeah, that would be cool. Oh, Phil. Everyone loves Phil. How could you not? Dude, what else? Anyone else in 250s that you think is a chance? How's Hymas going to go?
It's tough, man, because he looked so good right before that injury last year at High Point. I think he got second in the moto, if I'm not mistaken.
I can't remember
second or fourth or something. It was really good.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like Supercross started out decent and tapered off.
Yeah, but he'll do better outdoors,
Yeah.
I think.
Mm.
Um,
He'll either be mixing up the top fives or he's just going to be a guy up there. Like I think like Hammaker and Beaumere and Piers Brown and like in that group,
yeah.
where they'll be mixing it for top tens, but they're just there and won't be talked about.
Mm. Yep. Yep. Who else haven't we thought of, man? Is there anyone else in PC or Star that could do something, you know?
I mean,
Not really.
Romano, not really.
No.
Yeah, I think we exploited everyone. Everyone else on the team, I feel like, is just going to be there.
Yeah, yeah.
Just
What
riding,
about
circulating?
Ferez? How's Ferez his injury?
That's dead silent, man.
Mm.
Since that FEMA breaks, though, it can be 4 or 5 months, but some people can
Yeah.
take 7, 8, man.
Yeah. And we don't know. We don't.
Yeah,
As
it's
far
tough.
as PC, we have no idea how Max Volan is.
Nope,
And I'm mates with his
never knew the
mechanic,
guy.
but I'm mates with his mechanic, RH. But I'm not that sort of mate that bugs him for information. So hopefully Max gets back during the outdoors. I hope.
Yep.
But
Yeah, we won't have McAdoo at the opening round, or Faulkner, or Voland. Star Racing, Smith again. I think Smith's just gonna be a guy,
yeah.
and he'll bust out a third and one moto for the whole year.
Smitty's not an outdoor. Smitty's a bit like Webby, isn't he? He's really good, but it's just much better at Supercross. Yeah.
Yeah, but they say that, but then Webb 2016 outdoors was so good.
I know, man. Only thing with Webby's outdoor 250 title is I can't remember what Zach's situation was, but yeah, like
that was the J Mart.
J Mart was
in Muddy
injured,
Creek. Yep.
and I'm pretty sure something was up with Zacho, and there was that like those three were pretty dominant, you know. So he not
clustered it.
Yeah, not taken away from that. It was a great championship because actually Coop actually pushed through that championship with an injury of his own. So it was very good.
The year before, he was competitive with J Mart.
Yeah, it was very good, but it wasn't a super strong field, I guess, in that particular year. But yeah, if that's the 450 outdoors just hasn't clicked for him, though, has it? Yeah.
Dude, placing his 250 title feels like a lifetime ago.
It was, man. it does feel like a long time ago, yeah. But nah, dude, I think that's about it for the 250s, man. I think that's about all I've got to go over. I can't wait for it to start. So,
dude, I'm excited for a new series to start, man.
The week off is shit, isn't it?
Well, not necessarily, because when you're involved in so many, I did go riding. I've been riding a bit lately, yeah, but there's so much other racing on, especially on four-wheel side.
Oh yeah,
there's IndyCar, NASCAR, Formula One, World Endurance. You know,
yeah.
Dude, Valentino Rossi's going really well in World Endurance, I must say.
I saw. Because I like you know me, like if it's not two wheels with knobby tires, I don't really know what's going on. But I did see a video probably on Insta of Rossi winning something in a car. So you know, like I didn't even know what sort of car, what series it was. I didn't look that close.
It's World Endurance. I forget the name of the class, as you know, because I watch it. Yeah. It's not the prototype ones. There's like 2 or 3 tiers of classes in the same race, and I think he's in the second tier or third tier.
Yeah, but it's
still very good either way.
It's no surprise though, is it? It's no surprise.
And also, I've seen today a fellow Kiwi, Scott McLaughlin, on pole for the Indy 500.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yep, got pole
Hey,
position.
how's Van Ginsbergen going?
He has not wrecked. That's the big thing in NASCAR. If you don't wreck,
Okay.
the Circuit of Americas, so an actual circuit, he looked very competitive in
Yeah.
both Cup class and Xfinity. He's starting to get his head around the ovals, but it's a completely different ball game
to learn.
racing ovals.
A lot to learn. Yeah.
Everything from drafting, pit strategy. Like he was on par for a top 10 and won them, but then they had a engine failure.
Yeah.
But he's been looking pretty solid, man. He's top 20 out of 35, whatever it is, every time.
In there on the ovals, yeah.
Yeah, on ovals. And then
What about how did he go at Circuit of the Americas? How did he go? Like, where did he finish up?
He got top 3 in a couple of stages,
Okay.
but he was definitely top 10 overall. It was pretty good. He led one of the stages for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you got Haley Deegan that seems to be in a crash every round at some stage.
Oh, is he racing against her?
Well, she's racing against him. She's almost never ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because I know. I don't know much about all that. About all that stuff, man.
It's taken me a while to wrap my head around NASCAR. They're like the stages I can understand to bunch them all back up, but some will win a stage, and then when they re-rack to go for green, they'll be in like 18th place. So I'm like, how? And no one can seem to explain it, but can only assume they pit in between cautions, and that's where they end up. But slowly wrapped my head around. But if it wasn't for Van Gisbergen, I wouldn't be watching it. But he's out there. IndyCar though, man, has been really good. 3 Kiwis. So the last round at Indianapolis, there was 3 Kiwis in 4th, 5th, and 6th, or 5th, 6th, 7th. Scott Dixon, Scott McLaughlin, and a young Marcus Armstrong.
Taken over,
man. Great.
All right, man. So we've even had a bit of a recap on the NASCAR and the IndyCar. We might round the show out at that, man. Thank you very much for your time, Blake Maitland. If anybody hasn't checked out the Moto Rundown, check that out. You'll hear all about what's going on in Kiwi land. And,
not much at the moment, unfortunately.
Not much at the moment. The
season is done.
Short and sweet.
Very short.
That's done. And so thank you for your time, man, and thank you very much to anyone that's listened. Let's get down to Parlour, hey, and see what happens this weekend, and hopefully there's plenty of action. Is what we want. Plenty of action. We want a banger.
I want chaos.
We want a barn burner first round, don't we? That's it. Set the scene for a good season. All right. Cheers, man.
Thanks for having me on, Steve. And are we doing a motocross one? For the season?
Not sure yet, man. Yeah, not sure.
We'll negotiate that.
All right. Cheers, man. Thank you.
All right. See you, Steve.
See you, man. Bye.